Now, Brexit. Prime Minister Boris Johnson says he'll die in a ditch before delaying Brexit again. Based on the last 24 hours, he certainly won't die wondering what he could have done to save the October 31 deadline he's promised. Reports in the British press overnight say the government is now going to challenge the new law to delay Brexit that Labour and Remainer Conservatives have forced upon Boris. He sacked over 20 of them from the whip. Now he will refuse to resign, even if he loses a vote of no confidence. And he'll apparently stay in Downing Street and go to the Supreme Court to challenge the delay. Wow. I mean, by Friday, we all thought his best-laid plans were in big trouble. Plan A was to stand down Parliament early and deliver his vision for the nation in the Queen's speech, then go to Brussels to strike a deal, armed with his threat of a no deal on the table. Deal or no deal, Britain would leave Europe on Halloween. Standing down or proroguing Parliament meant less time for the Remainer quislings in the Tory party to plot against him. But last week, he lost his majority in Parliament. He lost his first 3 votes as a PM. Parliament then stripped him of his crucial no-deal leverage in Brussels and ordered him to go back to Europe and ask for yet another delay to withdrawal to January the 1st, 2020, or worse, such later time Brussels might suggest. So he then tried for a snap election on October 15, but that was voted down. He needed a 2/3 majority. He's trying again tomorrow for an early election, but the same result looks inevitable. But Boris refuses to back down.
Can you make a promise today to the British public that you will not go back to Brussels and ask for another delay to Brexit?
Yes.
And sorry.
I can.
And would you
I'd rather be dead in a ditch.
So you would resign first, Prime Minister, rather than go and ask for that delay?
Look, I just don't. I really. It costs £1 billion a month. It achieves absolutely nothing. What on earth is the point of further delay?
Now, in the Labour camp, leader Jeremy Corbyn does not want an early election. Even his own MPs think he would lose. A chlorinated chicken, the free-trading Boris labelled Jeremy Corbyn, and here he is in the sun. Now, this whole thing is a game of chicken, however. Labour knows it would lose an early election, yes, but Labour also thinks that if Boris fails to deliver on October 31, then Brexiteer Conservatives would desert the party because he's broken his promise. So, for Camp Boris, what are the options? Well, if he can't get an early election, he could call a vote of no confidence in his own government. Yes. The clock then ticks for 14 days for anyone else to form a government, perhaps a coalition of Labour, the SDP. But would the sacked Tories, which Labour would probably need, vote Corbyn, knowing they would be deselected in their own Tory seats? On the other hand, if Corbyn could form a government, might that fire up the silent Brexit majority for a November general election? The thing is, in that case, Boris would need Nigel Farage and his Brexit party, even if that means holding the Prime Minister's nose. Overnight, Farage, who's been waiting for this moment, put his offer on the table. He wants Tory candidates to stand down in Labour-held seats in the north, Brexit land, giving the Brexit party candidates a free rein. In return, he'd stand down some of his 600 candidates where they might split the Leave vote.
We've got 630 candidates on the approved list, vetted, raring to go. I've been out round the country talking to them today. We are ready. We're organised, we're funded, we're ready to go.
Well, these are the protests outside Parliament on Saturday. Elephant traps are everywhere, not to mention the most wily operator of all, the Remain-leaning Speaker of the Commons, who has bent many outcomes. No one knows what will happen next. Britons now identify themselves as Remainers or Brexiteers ahead of party loyalties. Even the PM's own brother and one of his ministers, Jo Johnson, a Remainer, has resigned, splitting the Johnson family. But as I say, Boris is not going to die wondering.
So if you want Brexit sorted out before October the 31st, then please ask your MP to vote on Monday so that you can have your say on who goes to Brussels to sort this out.